Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into something pretty interesting, maybe a bit mysterious for some.
Uh,
The world of high-quality, solventless hash and rosin.
yeah, it's a specific corner of cannabis culture, but one with really dedicated followers.
Exactly. And you're here because you want to get up to speed quickly, right? So think of this as your shortcut, your fast track to understanding this whole scene. What's it about? Who matters? That's what we're digging into.
And we've been looking at this Nug Notes article, Full Melt Hustle, Inside the World of Hash Tom. Gives a pretty good window into a key figure.
Right. So our mission basically is to figure out who is Hash Tom? Why do people on the scene respect him so much? What values does he push? And yeah, what's the deal with Full Melt? That term seems crucial.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's start there. Who is Hash Tom? The article mentions a few nicknames.
What? Yeah, that tells you something right there. He's called the Melt Muncher, the Hash Hedonist, the Master of Microns, things like that. And interestingly, he's originally from Brazil, which kind of highlights how this appreciation for, really good hash isn't just local. It crosses borders.
Huh. And his reputation seems built on finding these like top shelf solventless jars.
Exactly.
Hmm.
And being really honest about his menus, the article makes a point that in a world potentially full of hype, he only promotes stuff he actually uses himself.
He only posts what he personally dabs. That kind of skin in the game approach, that must build trust, right?
Oh, absolutely. It suggests, a real commitment to quality over just making noise. His own dabbing becomes the filter.
Which is valuable, I imagine, in a market where sometimes it's hard to know it's really good.
Definitely. It points to this demand for, like, verifiable quality.
No, it seems his influence really took off after he moved to Seattle. But it wasn't like a big splashy launch or anything.
No, not at all. The piece talks about his quieter rise in the Seattle underground. While maybe others were chasing likes or followers, he was focused on building a network based on trust.
Supplying the real heads, as the article calls them, the serious enthusiasts.
Yeah, exactly. Giving them access to exceptional full melt and rosin, things they maybe couldn't easily find elsewhere.
And that led to his menus becoming sort of legendary in these elite sesh circles, even nationwide.
Seems so. It wasn't about mass appeal. It was about delivering a specific, very high level of quality consistently that creates reliability.
So people knew if
Yep.
it's on his list, it's legit.
Pretty much, it meets his standard.
Okay, that brings us to this core idea, melt. His philosophy is apparently melt everything. What does that actually mean in this context? Why is melt so important?
Right. So melt here is more than just, how it looks when you heat it. It's really a key signifier of purity, of quality.
How so?
For hash tom, the standard is clear. It has to melt cleanly, leave very little residue, and deliver that full spectrum of flavor. That's the benchmark. Full melt is basically the peak.
So if it melts clean, it means there's not much unwanted plant material left, just the good stuff.
Exactly. It means a high concentration of cannabinoids and terpenes, which is what you want. It vaporizes almost completely.
And the article suggests this is like a dividing line between the real hash heads and the tourists. Knowing about melt is like the secret handshake.
Kind of, yeah. It represents a deeper appreciation for the craft, for solventless extraction. It signals you understand what goes into making truly high-grade hash. It's about the whole process, really, from
Yeah.
grow to extraction.
Okay, got it. So he's not just a curator. It sounds like he also plays this philosopher role or even a watchdog. His X account gets mentioned.
Yeah, that's a really interesting dimension. They call his X account a classroom. He apparently gets into debates.
Like about dabbing temps.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to call out things he sees as, well, sketchy. Gimmicky brands, maybe inflated THC numbers, questionable lab tests.
So he's trying to keep things honest, uphold standards in the solventless world.
Seems like it. He's sort of defending the integrity of the scene. It highlights those ongoing challenges in the cannabis market, doesn't it? Where information isn't always clear.
Yeah, definitely. It makes him more than just a seller. He's actively shaping the conversation.
And that engagement, that willingness to critique, probably builds even more trust among people who care about those same things.
And this trust translates into some serious clout, it seems. The article says his opinion matters to other terp connoisseurs, people really into the flavors and aromas, right? Like Cozy Cubes and Abercrombie are mentioned.
Exactly. And terp is short for terpenes, the compounds giving cannabis its smell and taste. So yeah, when he gives something the nod,
Other serious folks pay attention.
right, it shows how interconnected this niche community is and how much reputation counts. His track record means his recommendations cut through the noise.
It says, when he posts a menu, real smokers take note because they know it's gas or it's gone. That's pretty telling.
It really is. It shows his influence acts like a powerful filter. If he approves it, it must be good and probably won't last long.
Now, you mentioned dabbing temps earlier. The article gets specific about his own process. It involves a thermal camera.
Yeah, apparently. An
Yeah.
H-Igon iGripedero-1 thermal camera, specifically to make sure he's hitting precisely 580 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow, that's dedication.
It really underlines the connoisseur approach, doesn't it? It's not just casual use, it's about controlling the variables to optimize the experience.
And why that specific temperature? It goes back to his philosophy.
Flavor beats cloud every time. It's all about tasting the terpenes, those subtle nuances in the hash or rosin. The right temperature unlocks that.
Not just about blowing the biggest cloud of vapor.
Exactly. It's about appreciation, the finer points.
Okay, so who does get his stamp of approval? The article names some brands.
It does. He apparently co-signs brands like Happy Hash, Trap Jesus, Master Ball Melts.
And singles out one from Master Ball Melt.
Yeah, their rare candy is called a must repeat.
Oh.
He also respects Ahti Hash, HIKMICRO, and Pure Organics. The key seems to be solventless purity and consistency.
So it's a select group. You have to be doing things the right way, consistently, to get his attention.
Seems that way. The article stresses only real work makes the cut. It reinforces his role as this quality gatekeeper.
And by highlighting these brands, he's not just recommending them, he's setting a benchmark for others, too.
Absolutely. It encourages that focus on quality throughout the solventless space.
Then there's this other interesting thing mentioned, the Munch Melt movement. Sounds fancy.
Yeah, it does. It's about blending, get this, high-end Dubai chocolate with premium hash.
Okay, so not your standard brownie.
Definitely not. The article calls it culinary hash art. It's positioned as a really sophisticated high-end edible using top-tier solventless extracts.
This ain't your average stoner snack. That description says a lot.
It points to this desire for more refined ways to consume merging gourmet food culture with high-quality cannabis for a certain kind of consumer.
Interesting fusion. So when we kind of step back and look at the whole picture, what's Hash Tom's overall impact, his legacy in this culture?
Well, if you pull together the curation, the focus on melt, the education, the watchdog role, the endorsements, he really comes across as a central guardian of real hash culture.
More than just a middleman.
Much more. He's actively shaping and defending the values of that solventless community. His journey from that quiet start in Seattle shows how deep knowledge and commitment to quality can build serious influence, even without shouting the loudest.
And the article wraps up by saying his goal isn't just moving product, it's bigger. Preserving solventless purity, supporting the small batch producers, protecting the whole idea of melt.
Exactly. It paints him as someone really invested in the soul of this specific scene, upholding what makes it unique and respected.
So the key takeaway for you listening is that Hash Tom isn't just some guy selling hash online. He's emerged as this really pivotal figure ensuring quality, building community, and defining what excellence looks like in the solventless world. It's about authenticity.
That sums it up perfectly.
Now here's something to chew on. Think about other specialized communities you might follow, maybe hobbies or interests you have. How do quality and authenticity work there? Are there figures like Hash Tom, maybe less famous, who act as tastemakers or standard bearers? It's interesting to consider how these dynamics play out across different passions. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.